Why aren't your guts healing despite doing everything right, following all the correct diets, and doing all the right things that supposedly cure your gut health? Hi, I'm Pete. This is Retrain Pain, and today I am going to be talking about sunshine. Okay, sunshine. Now, for me, one of the biggest and forgotten factors in our health just in general, but health of things that are going on inside of us, is sunlight. Now, everything on this planet, bar a few things that live really deep under the ground and under the sea, rely on sunlight to grow, to feed themselves. As a human, I live obviously above ground, and I rely on the sun to give energy to the plants, the animals, and all the things around me that grow that I will kind of inevitably eat, or that the animals would go and eat, that I will then eat the animals. Okay, I'm an omnivore and not afraid of it. So we need to know a little bit about sunlight and our skin and our bodies to kind of understand this a little bit further. So obviously, I live in the UK, not obvious, but I live in the UK, and we go through very obvious seasonal changes. Now, at the moment, it's coming towards the end of spring. We're, what is it, I don't know, the 10th, 11th of May, and the plants in the fields are starting to grow. Leaves are coming back on the trees, you can see the buds, you can see the blossom, all that kind of stuff. Now, unless I'm a skilled forager, there is not actually that much food around, okay, despite it being spring. Early vegetables will be growing, early fruits will be growing, but not a huge amount else. Again, as said, unless I'm a skilled forager, in which case I'd know what to look for. There'd be more stuff available, but I'm not, so I don't know. I rely on a supermarket to have food in stock. Anyway, what my body does is it understands sunlight through my eyes, through my skin, and that sunlight communicates with my cells, telling me what time of year it is, what chemicals to produce to match my environment. So if I'm out and about, and I'm out and about all day, even at this time of year, I'm going to be exposed to kind of a large amount of light. So what my skin will do is it will produce melanin to protect me from the sun. So my body is understanding the light, and it's getting information from the sun and the light conditions to say, look, this is what's going on. I need to do this right now to protect my skin from the sun, but also to absorb vitamin D and all the other kind of stuff that we get from the sun. We're not absorbing vitamin D, by the way. We're creating vitamin D from light conditions. This is not a story about vitamin D. So my body understands light. The fruits and vegetables that are growing all year round, no matter kind of where I am in the world, also understand light. Now, the light in the UK is a lot less intense than the light at the equator. Light at the equator is very, very intense. Okay? All year round, it's pretty much the same, depending on how far away from the equator you are, but it doesn't vary a huge amount all year round. And that enables plants like bananas and watermelons and avocados to grow. They need that intense sunlight all year round to be able to produce fruit, okay, or whatever. Okay, depending on what tree it is. And they will be able to go into season as and when they like, to an extent. Whereas in the UK, we've got this big seasonal shift. Okay, and in more northern and more southern climates, there's big seasonal shifts. So in summer, it becomes very hot. The light intensity increases quite drastically in compared to winter. You know, right? So the light intensity changes, and my body is understanding that. or at least it's trying to. And if I never go outside and experience sunlight, or I don't do it very often, then my body has got less chance to understand what that light is doing. Now, my gut bacteria will also be responding to that light. They know what time of year it is because the infrared light and the ultraviolet light from the sun varies day to day depending on what time of year it is. My body understands it, okay? So that light gets in through my eyes, it communicates into my brain, into my pituitary gland, and it tells my body to produce this array of hormones and chemicals to keep me adapted to the environment that I'm in. Now, it'd be silly for my body in winter to produce melanin because it doesn't need to. It's a waste of energy. There's no need for my body to be tanned in winter because the sunlight isn't that intense. It needs my skin to be quite pale in winter so that I can absorb whatever light from the sun that there is to produce all the chemicals and the hormones that it needs in winter. And in summer, that changes so that it can do all the right things there. It kind of goes into energy saving mode. Okay, so why bother producing stuff that it doesn't need to produce in winter? There's no need. Okay, it's a waste of energy. It's a waste of time for my body to do that. It wants to save resources at all costs. Same with fruits and vegetables. They are imbued, they are infused with the sunlight of where and when they are from. So a banana grows in the tropics. It has very intense light infused into that banana. Very high energy, it's fast frequencies. Okay. My body in the UK is expecting foods locally because that's what the sunlight is saying. So if I start putting foods into my body that are doing this, they're very high energy, okay, and my gut bacteria are expecting a medium or low intensity frequency, that might be why, even though you've done a FODMAP diet and you've gone vegan or you've changed your diet drastically, you still might be producing, or you still might be having effects of IBS or other gut complaints, because you're eating lots of food from an environment where you are not. Okay, it's to do with where you are and when you are, not so much, oh, it's highly inflammatory, or it's low inflammatory diet, okay, depending on what's in it. That will play a part, no doubt, but there are other factors to consider, such as sunlight. Emotions have a huge part to play on what your gut condition does. So if you're stressed, okay, and you've already got a tendency towards IBS and dodgy guts, and your stress levels go up, well, chances are you're going to have an increased problem at that point until your stress levels go back down again. But sunlight, and we're not talking about emotions right now, maybe that's a video for another day. We're talking about sunlight. So sunlight, infrared light, passes through our skin and penetrates kind of quite deep into our body. My gut bacteria will understand the frequencies that are coming from that light and will adapt to that level of light. So certain levels of gut bacteria might go up and other levels of gut bacteria might go down depending on the level of light. So that might be why when you go on holiday to somewhere more sunny, you could travel from the UK to somewhere like the south of Spain or Tenerife or the Caribbean or wherever it is you might go, somewhere sunny, somewhere, you know, latitude-wise a lot further south towards the equator, you might experience some real tummy troubles because your gut bacteria are having to adapt very, very quickly to a completely new environment. Not only that, you're being exposed to a completely different range of foods, potentially, that have a different energy of light. So your body's got a lot of things to do at that point, and you're asking them to do that very quickly. Now, our body's pretty adaptable. It should pass pretty quickly, maybe 24, 48, 36 hours, 72 hours maybe at tops. It should be able to do that. But obviously when we go on holiday, we put sun cream on, we put sunglasses on, we stay inside maybe for certain parts of the day, or we don't get out early enough in the morning to experience the light from our new environment. So we're not letting our body adapt to that new environment as fast as it could. And by staying inside and putting the sunglasses on, putting the sun cream on, you're missing that complete level of information that your body should be receiving. And then on the flip side of that, when you travel back home, your body then has to readapt to a different level of sunlight again. So again, when you come home, you might have dodgy guts, you might blame it on the plane, you might blame it on dodgy plane food, you might blame it on the travel itself. Actually, the thing to blame probably is the level of sunlight you're experiencing, and it's just a completely natural thing to do. We're not supposed to travel that fast from north to south, okay, depending on where in the world you've gone. We're not supposed to travel that fast. Okay? We're supposed to travel on 2 feet and probably at fastest on a horse. That's it. So, could it be that the reason your guts are not fixing themselves, despite doing all the right stuff with the diet, is you are lacking a level of sun exposure, whatever time of year that might be? It could be winter. Okay? You are lacking a level of sun exposure, and you're eating a diet that might be low inflammatory in terms of the chemicals and stuff we find in it, but it might be highly inflammatory in terms of the frequency that it has, because it's coming from a different part of the world that your body does not understand, because it is not expecting that kind of light. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed that video, please hit subscribe down there. Give me a little thumbs up, maybe leave a comment if there is something else you would like to know about, get my point of view on, and generally hear more from me. That would be amazing. Thank you so much. I will see you another time.